Hey, what's up guys? It's Brandon, the Day Trading Genius. Thank you for joining my channel. Now I know you guys are used to me talking about trading stuff, and that's what this video is about. How to install trading apps on Linux the correct way. But this video is broadly about how to install any app on Linux the correct way. How to install Linux the correct way. If you're new to Linux, then you want to hit that like and subscribe button because I'm going to teach you some things. I'm going to give you a set of codes, lines of command that you're going to copy and paste into your terminal, and that's easy enough. Doing that will give you access to those trading platforms that you dream of, and you can use that autonomously without the market maker knowing your exact global position, using that information against your will. So, this version of Linux that I'm using, that I have installed very easily, it's very free, is called DEEPIN 20.9. It's a GNU Linux stable version of Debian. It's free, like I said, and was developed in Asia. So there are some language barriers during the installation. But once you're good to go, you can change everything to English and it will become operable. Now, you can install it from the deepin.org website, and I'll leave a link in the descriptions for that. And then you'll want to also install this document containing some lines of code we're going to copy and paste into the terminal. The first thing you want to do is to grab a Balena etcher or something like it, like Rufus, and flash the ISO onto a USB card that has at least 16 gigs of memory or more. Once you flash that USB card, this operating system is installable the same way you install Windows 10 onto an old computer. So just follow the installation instructions until you've accumulated the highest version, which is 20.9, 5.18 AMD 64 or ARM 64, which are the only two options. There is another higher version called V23, and the advantage of that is you get XML code through Virtual Machine, the app. So if you want to run Mac OS and use pass-through, then you want the V23. Otherwise, if you're just going to do nominal events on your virtual machine that doesn't require pass-through, you don't need that. And there's also another advantage. The DEEPIN 20.9 version gives you 11 extra gigs of RAM through KVM mitigation on top of the RAM you have installed into your computer's motherboard. But the V23, which offers the XML for GPU pass-through on Mac OS, only gives you 7 gigs of RAM, which is about 3 to 4 gigs RAM short. So you decide. And then you also have the option of the version, which can range from 5.1, I believe, to 5.18. And then there's a community version and a desktop version. This thing is packed and it's stable because it runs Debian. You can run DEB packages, flat packages, snap packages, Ubuntu, and any other stable version of Linux distro. And I'll show you these different tips and techniques as we move along in the installation. But before you begin, you must do a significant amount of things in order to get started. And if you skip this phase, you will not be able to update correctly and you will run across numerous errors. Trust me, I already tried. You want to go to your right-hand corner of the screen and you want to click on time and settings, and you want to change the time zone to the correct time zone that you are now currently located, as well as the time, and make sure you auto sync that. If it is correct, you will be able to update straight from the settings menu here, and then you can close that out when you're done. Moving on, you want to copy this cluster of command here. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for this document file, and you want to paste it onto your terminal. By pressing Alt, Control, and tapping the letter T, your terminal will pop up. I'll show you guys how to do the wobbly window at the end of the video. So I hope I don't forget. What we're looking at is command line that will enable an update, an upgrade, and some configuration code line, as well as the snap core and the snap and snapd store, which happen to be the same. And I'll explain to you what the difference is and how to access them due to the current modification of app integration. So copy that, paste that into your terminal here. I've already done it, so there's no need to do it twice. We're going to go ahead and test that Snap Store to see if it actually works with this Hello World application. That is just a test. Copy it and paste it into your terminal. And we're going to look at it to determine if the Snap Store is actually installing Hello World. If it is, then it will generate and there will be no errors. Once it has done that, we're going to look for some trading apps. But before we do that, we need to do some more things. Moving along, we're going to look for the launcher here located at the left side of your screen, and it's in PC mode. You can change that as well and see it differently, but we're going to stay in PC mode so that we can see the apps that install generate at the top of our menu. We're going to type in the word App Store here. It's the orange square app looking store. Expand it. And we want to install and check for updates. That's on the right hand corner of your screen. Make sure you do this first. Okay, guys, you have installed your time zone correctly. Your terminal was updated and your app store was updated. You can begin to install things. And if you have noticed, when you go to category, you have access to all apps and they are all stable and have been tested for many years. All right, moving along. We're going to need 3 important apps that are going to help us in our journey to installing what we need for trading apps. The first thing we're going to need, and I think I typed that in the wrong way, was App Image Installer. So let's type that in. And that's without spaces. And we need the capital A App Image Installer. So go ahead and install that. I can't believe they actually have Antutu benchmark there. We're going to check that out one day. And then we're going to skip the lowercase image installer and go after the app image pool here. And that's going to help us as well. We'll be able to open .app images as I explained earlier. Once you have those 2 apps, you'll go ahead and type in Google in the search perimeter here. And you're going to install Google. All right, there is already a browser here, but it does not do what Google does. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks as to how to install different apps. You'll notice there are different ways to install things that are very necessary for us, like the Brave browser for the crypto, and then you have the Opera browser for gaming. So let's get the Chrome and let's go ahead and open that up. Opening up the Chrome, we see already, if you've signed in, that we have access to Google and any app they have here. How do we get these apps? I'm going to show you that right now. So go into the Snapcraft store by going to snapcraft.io and clicking the Snap Store button. You'll notice they have an assortment of different Snap Store apps, okay? And you can have any one of these by just clicking on it. Let's say we want Telegram desktop, which if you're an advanced user is quite hard to compile because of the dependencies. We're going to click install, and what do we see? We're going to copy this command and paste it into our terminal. And once it has installed this app, we'll see it right in our menu. Now that's an example of it, but I just want to show you real quick. And we're going to actually look for our app, which is TradingView. So we're going to type in TradingView, hit the search icon here, and lo and behold, it's here. So we're going to install it. Now we're going to copy this command line. Oops, that's an image. We're going to copy this command line and paste it into the terminal. And that should help us to install TradingView. And it's going to ask us for our password here. What do you know? It's already installed. So when we go here and type in TradingView, we have TradingView as a completely separate application running in a virtual machine. Let me explain to you what virtual machines actually do. So we're going to go ahead to the command line of code we had there, and we're going to copy this cluster of command and paste it into our terminal. Okay, once you've done that, press enter. Y is for yes and N is for no. Yes is default. You should see speculation of your computer's virtual existence, as well as neo-fetch of that configuration. It's going to be important for you to remember, whether it's AMD 64 or ARM 64. So definitely remember that and have it up until we do our next lines of code. This will show you that you have KVM, VTX, and virtualization capabilities, which is the reason why we have so much power being swapped through that mitigation. So that will explain why your computer is working fast and why you're able to do some phenomenal things. Now follow me for the next amounts of code. If you decide you want to at any point, and I'll move this to this area here, install the app or run it from the terminal, you can run it with this command sudo snap run and whatever that is. And for us, that was TradingView. But if you wanted to run something else, you could do that as well. And that will run it from the window, and it will generate code, and whether you're in root or not. So that's for advanced users. Now, TradingView will open up in a completely separate window. And as you can see, you'll have access to it in a virtual existence, and you can open it in different ways with the same layout as a Chrome browser. However, it, like I said, is running from a KVM. If you're not using it, you can close out of it and try something else. The next line of code we're going to grab and paste here into our terminal, and be sure not to grab too much or anything that's not separated, or you'll get errors, is this here, the Flatpak store. So go ahead, copy and paste that. And what you'll notice when you go to your launcher here and type in the word discover, because if you type in Flatpak, nothing will appear. This is the Flatpak FlatHub application installer that is readily available for you at any time. And I suggest you only install apps and not anything from Plasma add-ons that is not configurable with your instance of this particular distro. So that's the Flatpak Hub. And how does it work? You install something and it appears in the launcher. And of course, you can send that to the dock and configure it the way you want to. This is from Ubuntu, so it isn't originally configured to work on Debian. Once you're done with that, the next thing you want to know is that if you made any mistakes or there was any errors, you may need to run this command to start all over. And thus you will have to run these commands again to do that. If it goes beyond that and there's no breaching the mistake, you will have to reinstall the whole iOS again. Trust me, it happens to the best of them. Okay, moving on. We're going to go to Google here, and I'm going to show you guys some more tips and tricks. So now that we've located the canonical Snapcraft store, and we know for sure that this is the store that has our apps in it, we want the app canonical Snapcraft store. But how do we get it? We're going to go here to the top right corner and to more tools here and create a shortcut of it. And it's going to, once we name it, make an app out of it and populate an icon, which it will place as a shortcut on our desktop, as well as give us a virtual KVM machine to run it separately from the Chrome browser. So if you notice, it now has become, an app on our desktop, and you have a Snapcraft store within your menu. Okay, guys, and you can see that in different ways if you want to change the way you see it. So that's another way how to install apps onto your system. And I'm going to show you a couple of other ways on how to do it, guys. And if you have memberships with cloud sources such as Ubisoft or gaming cloud hubs, or gaming cloud or cloud computing, then they can also be created as apps icons as well. Going back to Google, we're going to now visit the playonline.gg. Okay, now.gg is a PlayOnline source of cloud gaming. This is an idea, but like I said, you can do the same thing here. And as you can see, I have the app now.gg, and I can open it, and it will open up as a separate KVM and running with that extra virtual mitigation we spoke about earlier. And there's 11 gigs of that mitigation that isn't even being used up at all, and it works optimally with great performance and speed. So using that idea, you can install any app you want and separate it from the browser. I have a lot of online stuff here already. And as you can see, when you go to my bookmarks, you can go as far as installing something like iOS tool by creating the shortcut, opening as that window, and then it will create a KVM virtual window, as well as give you an app so you can locate within your window browser. So that's another way on how to install stuff, guys. I'm going to show you yet another way, if we can just get out of some of these. All right. So many apps. I'm a little app lost there. Okay, so we're going to go back to Google again, and we're going to go to a website called Web Catalog for Linux. Now, I have an x64 system, AMD, and the way you'll know what kind of system you have is, like I said, guys, you want to remember whether you have an AMD or ARM 64, so you can install this from the webcatalog.io website. Okay. Now, conventionally, we would just go to the shortcut, but that's not what we want. We want the actual, file, because this is for Linux. And I'll show you why things that are for Linux are actually going to be more powerful if you can find the actual execution file for Linux. That would be a .deb file, or a .app image file, or a snap file, or snapd file. And then there are other files that if you learn Linux enough and configure your terminal, you can install and have package managers install it for you upon prompt. So keep that idea open for discussion. Now, when you download the download for Linux x64, whichever one that is, you'll go to your file manager to downloads. You'll see the file here, webcatalog.appimage, and notice we had the app image package installer. We'll right click on that and we can add it to that package installer launcher. Now pressing next twice, and then we're going to name it exactly what it says. It says web catalog. Now you don't have to put the numbers after it, but you definitely want to name it exactly what the app's name is, because it's going to create the app and put it in your menu. And then you want to put it where, the category is. And like I said, there's a language barrier, but we know that's how it's configured. So we'll press next. And as you can see, I already had it. So I probably have two now. Let's go to it. We're going to type in web catalog. Okay, I don't have two because I didn't press next after that. So we're going to open that up. And what do we see? We have a separate KVM window running VTX mitigation in a virtual window. And it gives us access to Play Store apps that are compatible with Linux. Okay, well, how do we know they're compatible? Because you can install them right to Linux. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys something. If you go to games here, and you look for a game that isn't very memory intensive, like Among Us, that has the website server now.gg. You're going to install a game like this, okay? Because we want to go to the now.gg website when we type in Among Us here. And we want to see what the now.gg website offers. Now, we already know that the now.gg website, we can find games on it, and it will play those games from it or open up another window. But we're at the web catalog with this, and that app is running from the web catalog. So just use your imagination. This is now the same place, but different. We're going to click on the main website here by pressing that and avoid the Among Us game. Okay. And as you can see, there are now two of the same. Now, one is in a VTX window virtually running their virtual existence, but one is running from the cloud in a virtual KVM window. And let me show you how the performance is running in the background. Quite simple. It's nothing really going on because it's using only 1.2 gigs of that swap KVM VTX technology. And so you can literally play two games on one side of the screen and the other side of the screen and never consume less than, I don't know, 20% of your total RAM. And I don't have a graphics card, so use your imagination about that. You can actually have more power than they promise you can when you buy their upgrades. And I'm not going to say any names. So if you're not using anything, guys, just exit out of it. And like I said, that is pretty much all the ways that I have been installing stuff. And my favorite app, obviously, is the one I make money with, which is TradingView, and the one that I wanted to show you. But obviously, if you want other apps that are trade related, you'd go to it, like Pionex. And I use TradingView, Pionex, and LBank. So you guys do the math. I've already installed it, and it is an app located in my menu, and I can select it anytime I want to. Scrolling over to find it. What do we see? Do I have it? Actually, I don't see it. I must have tried to delete it without really getting rid of it or something. And so it gave me the window, but let's uninstall it correctly and install it again. Okay, so we'll uninstall it correctly, and then we'll go back to it. Now, originally, they're not going to give this to me because it's not a part of their plan. But using DEEPIN 20.9, as far as I know, and this Google version will give you the icon, and it won't be one of those cheesy icons that Google usually gives you. It'll be something that you can actually use. See, there it is. But I want to locate it here. Oh, okay, so there it is. So now I can send it to the dock and it'll always stay, and I can do some trading and stuff like that. And so that's what's cool about that. So yeah, guys, this is a completely separate window. And if I wanted to, I can go into, like as if it were a browser, into full screen. I can I can actually do code on the side and all sorts of stuff, if I wanted to. And this is what I think is interesting. And it's pretty fast. It looks smooth, looking at that candle go up right now. It looks like it's moving. All right. You're not getting any stutter, no jitter. Somebody made some money right there when if they got to get out, or if they stay. Okay. They're rallying. That's a rally base. This is a rally base. Okay. And, that's what that's about. So thank you guys for joining me. But hey, let me show you how to do that wobbly Windows thing, guys. Don't give away yet. We're going to do that right now. I'm going to close out all this stuff. This TradingView got all the tools you need if you sign in and all that. I wanted to see the heat map, but for some reason, I don't know if it's me. I want to see the heat map, and I don't know how to find it. Is the heat map located in more? Yeah, it sure is. And then it's in like markets, and then you got the indices, and then you have world indices, currency, world indices. I really don't remember. I don't remember stocks, futures. Yeah, the heat map is interesting if you can find it. I think it's indices. Yeah, indices and then major world, something like that. So all indices, news overview. Yeah, I don't see the heat map. I gotta find it. But it was totally awesome, and I wanted to show you guys, but unfortunately, I can't locate it. This looks pretty good. You know, it's sweet. You know, I don't really use all of the stuff you see here, and I would have to do some adjustments here. It looks kind of, I don't really like how that looks, but my other platform is never has that problem. But you know, it's cool. It's pretty cool. If you want to get out, I think you press escape and you're good to go. Okay. So let's get to that wobbly window thingy. So the first thing you want to do is you want to copy this line of code. Okay. So copy it and paste it into your terminal. Once you've done that, you want to press LS and you want to locate it. Okay, it should be called suite. It should be called suite. No, actually zero suite. Sorry guys. Get. So you want to CD into that. And once you CD into that, you'll see, well, you want to LS. And then after you LS, you'll see a file called install.sha. Okay. And what you want to do here is you want to put a dot and a / in front of it and press enter. Okay. Now you'll have to, after it's done installing and doing what it does, you'll have to restart the computer. Okay. Listen to me carefully. If when you start the computer and you open something up and it doesn't do the wobbly, then you have to do it one more time, the same way you just did, but you're going to have to, before you press enter and you get to this part, you're going to have to change its mode. Okay. So you'll do it again. And how will you do it again? Well, I'm sorry, that's a lowercase x. You'll do it again by going to the file manager, going to home and locating it here. It will say zero suite. Get rid of that folder and delete it from wherever it was. Okay, get rid of it and start again. The same way you started when you copied this here. So you copy that and then you'll ls cd into that other command that I gave you, zero suite get, and then you'll get to this part, change the mode first. Once the mode is changed, you can now do this command, which is /install.sha, and then enter it. I hope it works for you the first time. Otherwise, you'll basically have to do it again. And then, like I said, you got to do the change mode. Okay. You can look up how to install a /install.sh file. Okay. How to install a /install.sh file. There are many different ways, but rebooting your computer should give you this ability. Okay. And if it doesn't hypothecate the first time you reboot, it'll hypothecate when you do, for example, update. So when you finally do an update or something somewhere along the line in the future, it'll generate, and you'll notice, because it happened to me and just popped back. I got it. So, all right, guys, till the next video, I'll be showing you in the next video how to install Windows apps straight from the Windows virtual machine, and how to install Mac OS, even though we won't be able to pass through it with XML. So we'll use Mac OS, but we won't be able to pass through it, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. And this is Brandon, the day trading genius, and you are my perfect guest. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, guys. Thank you. Peace. I'm out.